Hey guys, I'm Paradise1. Since World of Warcraft's release, pets have been an integral part of the hunter class. Over the years, pet design has changed drastically, and how to choose what pet is best suited for each situation has changed as well. On my Twitch stream, a common question I'm asked is, what are the best pets to use for PvP? As such, I have decided to make a guide on the best pets to use for hunter PvP in the current iteration of the game, Dragonflight. In this video, I will go over different pet functions, explaining the different family abilities and specializations, as well as the 5 pets that you want to have to be ready for any PvP situation you may find yourself in. With that, let's begin. The first thing I'm going to go over is pet specializations. Pet specializations determine passive and active abilities your pet will give to your character to use. There are 3 pet specializations in Dragonflight: Cunning, Ferocity, and Tenacity, each providing a unique passive buff to your character, as well as an active ability. The Cunning pet specialization provides the player with the Pathfinding passive ability, which increases your movement speed by 8%. It also provides the player with the active ability Master's Call. This is the hunter version of Hand of Freedom. It removes all roots, slows, and snare effects, and suppresses them for 4 seconds on the target it is casted on, as well as your pet. The Ferocity pet specialization provides the player with the passive ability Predator's Thirst, increasing your leech by 10%. It also provides the active ability Primal Rage, which is a cooldown equivalent to, say, Bloodlust or Heroism, which increases your party and raid members' haste by 30% for 40 seconds. The Tenacity pet specialization provides the player with the passive ability Endurance Training, which increases your maximum health by 5%, and also gives the player the Fortitude of the Bear active ability, which increases you and your pet's maximum health by 20% for 10 seconds, and also instantly heals for that amount. Now on to pet family abilities. Pet family abilities determine what active ability your pet will get to use for themselves. In Dragonflight, there are 7 different pet family abilities. These pet family abilities include Defense, which will reduce the damage your pet takes by 50% for 12 seconds. Dodge, which will increase your pet's dodge chance by 30% for 20 seconds. Magic Defense, which will reduce the magic damage your pet takes by 70% for 8 seconds. Mortal Wounds, which will put a healing debuff on your pet's target, reducing the effectiveness of healing taken for 10 seconds. Pet Cure or Dispel, which will remove 1 disease, magic, and poison effect from your pet. Slow, which will apply a 50% slow to your pet's target for 6 seconds. And finally, Triggered Defense, which will reduce your pet's damage taken by 60% for 15 seconds, but only triggered when you drop below 40% health, and this can occur once every 2 minutes. Now that we have gone over how each pet family ability and specialization differentiates from each other, let's talk about the best ones to pick when PvPing. There are 5 different types of pets you want to get for PvP as a hunter. If you have all 5 of these pets available to you, you will be ready for any PvP situation that comes your way. These 5 pet types include a Cunning specialization pet with the Mortal Wounds ability, a Ferocity specialization pet with the Mortal Wounds ability, a Tenacity specialization pet with the Mortal Wounds ability, an Undead Cunning pet with the Mortal Wounds ability, as well as a Worm pet. Although this pet will only be used in a very niche situation that I will explain later, but I wanted to have all angles covered. As you can see from the list, the Mortal Wounds pet family ability is by far the most useful in nearly all PvP situations. Having a healing reduction on your target is very strong in every bracket of arena and even RBGs. Each pet will have its own situation to be used in, which I will cover now. The Cunning Mortal Wounds pet will be used whenever you or your team would benefit from the Master's Call Freedom ability. For example, if you're fighting a melee cleave, having a way to assist you kite is very helpful. If you're fighting a Moonkin, being able to freedom your healer out of a solar beam is also very effective. In RBGs, you can use your Master's Call to freedom your tank to get them away from enemies, or even just to help yourself or a teammate catch up or escape from certain situations. It's also important to note that the Master's Call Freedom will also affect your pet. For this reason, I choose to use this type of pet very often if I'm playing a Beast Mastery Hunter, especially if you are fighting classes that have the potential to slow or root your pets. Since the overwhelming majority of Beast Mastery's damage is from your pets, having them sit roots is not optimal, so having the option to free your pets from these things is very helpful. The Ferocity Mortal Wounds pet is my least used pet type, but it has its purpose. In RBGs, I will almost never run this pet type, as having the Master's Call Freedom has way more value. In arenas, the only time I will run a Ferocity pet is if I am fighting, say, a Rot Cleave, in which there is not much value in the Master's Call Freedom ability. One such example might be if you're fighting an Affliction Warlock, Shadow Priest, and Holy Paladin, as they don't have many roots or effective slows to prevent me or my pets from doing damage. However, the 10% leech will help me and my pet passively heal through a little bit of their rot damage, helping my healer sustain us better. The main reason I have a Ferocity pet available is not for the pet itself, but for the Primal Rage ability. Let me explain. In a rated arena, you cannot use the Primal Rage ability normally, as you cannot use those kinds of abilities in arena in general, such as Heroism or Bloodlust. However, with the Kindred Beast Beast Mastery Honor talent, it will give you a nerfed version of your Primal Rage, granting 12% haste to you and your team for 20 seconds, but it will now be able to be used in an arena setting. That being said, I would still not want to have a Ferocity pet out when fighting against many comps, and once you are in an arena, you cannot change your pet. Whatever pet you have out is the one you're going to have to work with for the rest of the game. There is currently, however, a workaround for this in the game's current state for BM hunters, to get both the Primal Rage benefit and still have the optimal pet of your choice out for the remainder of the game. Whether or not this is a bug or an intended interaction, I don't know, but this trick is a widely known trick done on large live streams, and I have seen no problems for people who do use this trick, and because of this I have decided to explain it here. What you do is take the Kindred Beast's talent for Beast Mastery and summon your Ferocity pet. Wait for the arena countdown timer to start ticking down. When it gets to 2 seconds, begin casting Dismiss Pet. Once the gates open, and right before your Dismiss Pet finishes casting, you will have about 1 second to use your Primal Rage ability. This will now give you and your team 12% haste for 20 seconds, and still complete the cast of dismissing your pet. Since you are now technically starting the game without a pet, you will be able to summon the actual pet you want to use for the rest of the game. Moving on, Tenacity and Mortal Wounds pet is used in situations where you will not get much value from freedom, there is more high single target damage you are dealing with and less rot damage, or if there's damage that you will not be able to kite. One such example is when I'm fighting a Jungle Cleave as a Mirror Jungle Cleave. Freedom is nice, but you are not really avoiding any of the BM's damage, as it is all pet damage, as well as the Feral Druid will inevitably have damage uptime with their bleeds, in addition to it being very difficult to kite a Feral Druid in general. You can make the argument that having freedom for your healer to run at their healer for a fear is valuable, but I personally feel that having the extra HP and defensive cooldown, especially when you will be the primary kill target, is more valuable. The Undead Cunning Mortal Wounds pet is used in the same way that a regular Cunning and Mortal Wounds pet is used, but these two types of pets swap depending on what you are fighting. If you are fighting, for example, a Resto Druid or Mage, an Undead pet will be immune to both Hibernate and Polymorph effects. However, an Undead pet is very susceptible to crowd control from classes that have Undead CC, such as Paladins. In the game's current state, with how overrepresented Red Paladins are, I would not recommend using an Undead pet, as every time the Red Paladin uses Wake of Ashes, it will stun your pet. That being said, it is important to have one available if there is a situation where you would want to use it. The final pet I will briefly go over is the Worm pet. There is only one scenario you would want to use this pet, and it is very specific. That being if you are a Beast Mastery Hunter, in a battleground, and defending a base. This is because of the Worm pet's exotic pet ability, Burrow. This ability will allow you to burrow your pet into the ground, dealing AoE damage to targets around its radius. This is beneficial when setting a base, since it gives you an extra cooldown to protect your base from people capping, and it is relatively unavoidable for the duration that the worm is burrowed. Before I conclude this video, I also wanted to briefly touch on Beast Mastery Hunters. BM Hunters have the option to have 2 pets active at the same time. The pet you choose to summon, as well as the pet in the first slot of your stable. I quickly wanted to emphasize that your second pet, the one in the stable, only benefits you by allowing you to use kill command with it when you use that ability. Other than that, it is just a purely cosmetic choice. This pet can be whatever you want. So, now that I have covered and explained what pet families and specializations you want to get, as well as when to use them, you may still be asking, that's great and all, but what actual pet should I get? Fortunately, there's a great resource for this. wow-petopia.com is a wonderful website that has all of the information you need to choose your pet. It will tell you what pets have the combination of ability specializations that I have previously covered, where to get them, as well as every model for that type of pet, so you can choose exactly what kind of appearance you want to use while still getting the optimal type. Thanks for watching. I hope you were able to learn something new about hunter pets today. Before I conclude, I just wanted to say that while I've been gone from YouTube and Twitch for a few years now, I have just recently gotten back into it. I stream regularly and would love to see you stop by and potentially give me feedback on my videos or if you have any additional video ideas. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.